you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hello, this is Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are latest things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show for 16 years, 2,800 episodes, has been bringing you the most amazing minds, the most amazing stories, the most amazing journeys, lessons of life, and all that good stuff. But be sure to share the love, the wealth, and all that good stuff. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com, all Chris Voss, one word. You can find us there on the interwebs. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today we have an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his book and some of the insights that he has there and all that good stuff. His book is entitled Pangaea, Book 1, and we're going to get into it with that. It's called Enforcer's Pursuit as well. Out June 27th, 2023 by Camren T. Burton. So we're going to get into it with him, find out some of his deeds and what this book and his series is about that will be up to 7 books evidently planned out. He is, from a very young age, he knew he would be a writer, but before learning to write letters, he drew picture stories. He spends his time engaged with his projects, driving Uber, which he finds relaxing and conducive to thought and story development, and acting as a humble servant to his 2 cats. Welcome to the show, Camren. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing excellent, sir. It's wonderful to have you. Give us your .coms or website, social media, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
My main website for the books is www.readpangaea, all one word, .com. And it's spelled the same way as in the title, Pangaea. A lot of people tend to leave out that second A.
Gotta make sure you have the second A.
Yeah, readpangaea.com. That's the main site for the books and any announcements coming up through them, plus past media appearances and even the book trailer, which I created like a cinema trailer, is going to be there too.
And the cinema trailer is on YouTube, and you can find it on your website. And launches, I think, we're right about now, right?
Yes, it released right as the show started. It's live now on YouTube.
You can go watch it there, folks. So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside your book.
Okay, book 1, Enforcer's Pursuit. Right, this is it. The version you purchase from Amazon obviously will not have this gray band through the center. It's a prototype copy. Okay. But yeah, started a long, long time ago. And for a while I had lost some confidence in it. I wasn't sure it was ever going to be ready because it just wasn't gelling, you know. Uh-huh. And then I met my wife and I was telling her about them. She asked if she could read them. I said, sure. I gave her some printed copies. She comes back to me and says, you've got to get these out. So... yeah, she was the driving force behind getting all this into the go.
It's good that you did. Now, tell us about the books. Who are the characters in the books? Maybe give us some layout there.
Okay. The main protagonist is the character of Mark. He is a 12-year-old boy who has just broken out of his colony's boy prison because he has suffered there. He's been through things that can break even the hardest people. Despite having his memory erased, he still holds on to this strong suspicion that he was not supposed to be sent there. And so now he is breaking out to find the truth. And of course, the planet's police, the law enforcers, they are absolutely determined to capture him and bring him back to where they think he belongs. So it's,
and what planet is this on? Does it have a name? Is it something we're familiar with?
yes, it's the Earth colony Pangaea. It's named after Earth's original supercontinent, but it's spelled slightly differently because on this planet, the landmass never divided into multiple continents like Earth did, which is why they named it that.
So it's a post-Earth sort of. Everybody's flown away to these colonies, and what happened to Earth, or do we need to buy the book to find out if that's?
I won't say how, but I will say that it was rendered uninhabitable.
It's almost like something we're doing now could cause that. War in Iran. It's 2006, people. 26 if you're watching this 10 years from now on your YouTube channel. We've been there for 18 years. So people are still reviewing our reviews of the iPhone 2. Yeah. They always like to write and they go, "Hey, you got the price wrong on it's 99 cents on Amazon." I'm like, the video's 15 years old. I don't know. I thought it would be the full price we quoted. There's a prison planet, and I guess evidently there's law enforcers and a correctional facility and some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a caste system where if your parents go to prison, you end up in prison. Is that
no, there's no caste system. No caste system whatsoever.
Okay.
And Pangaea itself is not a prison planet. It's an Earth colony. It just has prisons like any civilization.
Okay. So can you tell us how the guy ends up in prison, or he's born into prison or something?
No, he was not born into prison. Okay. He was taken on suspicion of a pretty serious crime.
Oh, okay.
But unfortunately, coincidence may have played a major part in that. Bad timing.
Yeah. We just had someone on the show last week who spent 44 years in prison for a false accusation. Yeah, that's a lot of time to spend in your life. Tell us about what made you want to write this story out. What was the proponent to this, that aha moment?
Before I started writing on this, I'd basically been doing really bad sci-fi fan fiction. And I do mean bad. But one day I had a bit of an inspiration, and I just wrote out this little concept scene something after I saw a particular painting. And then a few weeks later, I was looking at it again, and I thought, you know what? This is actually rather different. I'm kind of liking this. I think I want to see where this goes. So this was back before computers were practically pocket accessories. So I got a handheld notebook, and I started working it out by hand. And from there, it grew into book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, and so on. But those early efforts, they're mainly source inspiration now. The versions that are going to be released now will be quite different from those older ones.
Now, it looks like this re-released, I think the original version you published in 2016, you've re-released this in 2023?
Yes, I re-released it in 2023 because the original publisher, and I'm very grateful for them to helping get it launched off in the first place. I want that on the record. But they were not bad, but we just butted heads a lot over how to proceed with sales. And so I just finally decided, obviously this is not going to work out. So I rebranded Pangaea Book 1 with new cover artwork, new internal artwork, and released it myself through Amazon. I had a pretty big budget for this the first time with some friends' help. We hired some independent freelance artists through Fiverr. Great platform, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so we had a graduate of the San Francisco Arts Academy, or I don't remember the exact school name, but it was something like that. He did the front cover artwork for the new book 1, and an artist from Belarus, and this was before Russia invaded Ukraine, by the way.
Oh, wow.
She helped us with the internal illustrations. She did a great job. Book 2, when the time came, I had to tighten the budget a little bit, and the new AI tech was coming into its own, so I started using that to generate the images for the image elements for the cover, I should say. And a dear friend of mine who was great with Photoshop, he helped me put the bits and pieces together for the cover. And for the internal illustrations, also used AI for that, although our artist from Belarus helped with the fine details that the AI just couldn't get.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, she was great. I've had a lot of great people helping me with this, and
it's an ambitious series. If you're going to plan on 7 books in this series, correct?
That depends, because books 4 and 5 are looking like they're going to have a lot of stuff going on in them. So if they get to be too big as single books, I may divide them into 2 books apiece, in which case it could push the total of the series up to 9.
A lot of people like these smaller books nowadays. They're faster reads. They have shorter attention spans, which is kind of weird because, if you really enjoy something, do you want a shorter version of it?
I certainly don't.
Yeah. If you really love something, but so a lot of the authors that are on the show, they just focus on making their, they kind of cut their books down, and they can get more series out of them. People kind of like that. They like, the ladies have the little romance novels called the beach reads, and they're like romance novels and sometimes probably some other stuff of fiction, but basically they're kind of quick reads. They're not something it's not War and Peace. And, since people love to binge stuff too, we know that for the show, 96% of the people listen on all of our episodes, the consumption rate's 96%. So that basically means they listen to pretty much the whole show. I think they dip out once they know I'm wrapping the show and skip to the next one. But I think that's where the 4% goes. I'm like, they hear the music come up and I'm rounding out the show. And they're like, okay, he's done with this show. We're moving to the next. But, people love to binge. They just binge stuff. And and especially if, it's a book they can't put down. And then they just kind of move to book and stuff. So it's really good that way. Now, you address one thing in the book, or it seems to be you address child abuse. Mm-hmm. Is that an intention, and why is that?
Yes, it is something that I actually intended on addressing, because, I've seen a lot of incidents with children being abused on the rise. Mm-hmm. I observed it growing up. I observed it through high school and as an adult. And yet, aside from token efforts, nobody ever really seems to try to do anything about it. Mm. And too many of them even try to pretend that it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I wanted to discuss in this is the existence of the phenomena and ways to better shed light on it and how to help those who've been the victims of it. And that's one of the reasons I love the Law and Order series, is because they're not afraid to delve into the difficult topics. But I do try to do it tastefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Child abuse is a big deal. And so the books are great fiction, but they're also, trying to tell a story and trying to maybe correct some social ills or educate people on abuse and maybe how they can prevent it.
Education through entertainment. That's one of my goals with it, yes.
That's the same thing we do on the Chris Voss Show. We entertain people, make them laugh, or maybe my jokes are so bad they cry. But either way, I move them to emotion. Do the same thing with my girlfriends, make them cry. Anyway, I've been accused of that. But, it is what it is. But I make them laugh sometimes, too. Mostly when they see me naked, but that's another joke. Anyway, whatever. You've got 2 books out now in the series. What's the title of the second book so people can find
the second book is Pangaea Book 2, Sula's Quest. Sula is the guy in the sunglasses there. He's also on the book, on the first book cover. Is the head law enforcer of Pangaea. He's the big boss. It's an elected position, by the way, but I tried to give him kind of this intimidating air as well as this ruthless dedication to upholding the law. He does not give up easily. He is also a war veteran. He is a very hard individual.
Yeah. So he's pretty tough. And so the character that's in this book, tell us, so flesh him out a little bit more. How old is he at the time of the book series, and does he stay fairly young, or does he get pretty old as you go through the 7 books?
Are you talking about Mark or Sula?
I think Mark.
When book 1 starts, Mark is at 12 years old. Book 4 is largely a prequel, but he does have some small parts in it. Yeah. Okay. He pretty much stays the same over the course of the books. Maybe there's maybe a year, 2 years that passes. So he's, he doesn't age all that much over the span of the series. Although he's not always the main protagonist in each and every book.
Oh, really? So you move it around?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And where did you come up with the title? That's kind of a unique title name.
Originally, I was naming it after the boys' prison, the Young Males Correctional Facility, or YMCF. Problem is, when I mentioned that to friends, they'd start imitating the village people singing YMCF. So I said,
was just thinking the same thing.
Exactly. So I said, yeah, that's not going to work. Then not long after that, Avatar came out, and they were using the planet's name that I originally had for it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I think you should sue what's his face.
No, I wouldn't do that. He's a great one.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually a plus for me. So I changed it from Pandora to Pangaea.
Oh, okay.
I wanted something that sounded similar, but was definitely different.
Very unique.
And did not cross franchise boundaries.
Ah, yeah, you don't want to get a letter from who's the director I'm thinking of?
James Camren.
James Camren, yeah. Otherwise, he'll get that old lady in from the Titanic at the end, and she'll throw you in the sea. So that was the alternative ending of Titanic. Actually, most people don't know that, but if you watch the DVD, you'll see that. Anyway. I'm just making shit up, people. Don't quote me. And do you have an anticipated date for the third book?
I am hoping to get it out in time for the holidays this year. Mm-hmm. But, they say that an artist's worst critic is themselves, and I'm definitely one that falls under that umbrella.
That tends to make for better art, I think, doesn't it?
I like to think so.
Yeah. I mean, being critical and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's, I forget the term, but there's like an old saying that, artists, they spend a lot of time looking at their belly button. So it's a very inward looking sort of experience. And so because of it, sometimes they can be, either overly obsessive or, they put a lot of love and care into their work. And they want it to be perfect, but that's what makes a great product. I mean,
in my experience.
Steve Jobs. I mean, he obsessed over the color yellow, the shade of it that was being used in the iPhone when it first launched. And when you think about it, you're like, that's really stupid. But in reality, his father was a woods carpenter craftsman who crafted furniture, and I think he crafted furniture. I know he crafted wood, but he was dedicated to the art of his work and the quality of it. And Steve Jobs picked up on that too. And so when he did things, he would worry about those things. And so to me, it just makes better art. The care, the love, the focus that someone puts in, and trying to ship a great product. It makes all the difference. I'd say. I
believe in quality with my stuff.
Yeah. We should do that on the Chris Voss show. We should work on some quality or something one of these days. There, guys. 16 years.
Looking like you're doing fine.
Yeah, we've been doing this for once or twice, 1 or 2 episodes out of 2,800. Anyway, now, so you're thinking maybe December, possibly? I'm not asking you to commit, but
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. There.
Depends on how the rewrites are going.
Ah, yeah. Because that editing is always a bit of a task. What sort of, now we in the bio it is said that even before you had learned words, you were drawing picture stories and stuff. Tell us how you developed as a writer. What were some of your early influences, maybe authors that influenced you, et cetera, et cetera?
Before I learned to write, of course, my main source is picture books, Dr. Seuss, others of that age genre. They were just so different, so outside the normal world, and it just fascinated me. And then, I started seeing movies, and especially the original Star Wars. Yeah, that one hooked little me.
Did you see it in the theaters when you were a kid when it launched?
I saw Return of the Jedi when it launched, yes. Okay, the others I was too young to see in the theater.
Okay, yeah. I remember seeing Star Wars as a kid in the theater. I'm really old. I'm like ancient. I fart dust. And people were like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. We hear it on the show every now and then.
Either way, like I said, Star Wars, it just hooked my imagination. And
oh, yeah. It really inspired a lot of people too. I mean,
Definitely.
It was kind of like a Beatles moment, really, when it came to music, as opposed, in this case, film. But I never seen anything like it. They're kind of in some goofy space 1970s, spacey movies, and they're kind of goofy, You're like, yeah, I can tell that's some toy that you're making, and it's a miniature, stop motion. You're like, I can see the cheesiness of this whole thing. But yeah, it was so wonderful. In fact, we had a gentleman on 2 weeks ago on the podcast who he worked on the set of Star Wars, and he helped build the Cantina, the Millennium Falcon, and several of the sets. I believe the Return of the Jedi set, where they're out on that barge or whatever. I can't remember. Yes. People have to go back and listen. Yeah, you have to listen to the podcast, folks, to find out what happened, because I can't remember. But yeah, it was really cool to talk to him, and his interactions with George Lucas and different things. Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, it's wonderful where inspiration comes from. How long did it take you to you'd mentioned something about how you'd tried several different iterations, and then it finally gelled for you. Well, how long did it take for that to gel, for you to kind of work your acumen enough to where you're like, I think I finally have something that people will buy?
Oh, close to 15 years. It was a long process.
Wow. Yeah.
But, then I also got involved with some other fan projects, and, had a good support community of friends there. They were great people. I loved spending time with them. They helped me find the confidence that I was lacking at the time to keep going.
It's good to have that inspiration too, right? People that are inspiring you, people that are motivating you to do and be better.
What they were doing may have been a low budget project, but they had a passion for it, and they also proved that you didn't need a huge Hollywood budget to be able to put out something good.
Yeah, I mean the democratization of books and being able to self-publish has been really great for a lot of people. And, it's been really great for our show too. The COVID crisis, unfortunate as it was, boy, a lot of people wrote a lot of books during that time and gave them some introspection. And I almost joke, can we have another lockdown so people write more books again and they can be on the show?
If there was one good part of COVID, I'd say that was it.
Yeah. So do you see, I imagine you're going to be quite a few years focused on these 7 books. There's some authors that will do these different branches of different characters. Like they'll have a different book series over here of Bob, and then there's one of Joe, and then there's another one of Mary. And, they kind of have different things that they flip-flop. Like one year they'll do this book series, then the next year they might do another. Do you see yourself maybe evolving into any of that in the future?
Actually, yes. Actually, I've been giving serious thought about doing an audio drama spin-off that would tell the story of what happened to Earth in the Pangaea universe,
like a prequel.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I do happen to know that audio dramas have been going pretty big lately, especially in audio book format. I listen to a lot of them myself, and I've just been blown away by how professional and how immersive they are with music, sounds, good acting. Yeah, I've been giving thought to forming that with the timeline where Earth is left useless, and see about making a story out of that in a different format from books.
Now, what sort of writing process do you use? That's another question we get a lot on the show. People are like, what sort of writing process do you use? Some people write like an hour a day. Some people lock themselves, into, I think the Unabomber's locking himself in the Montana log house or something like that. And he was just spitting out his own little manifest. So what sort of process do you use to work for you?
It varies with me. Like you said, when you read the bio, I also drive for Uber, and, there can be times where there's huge gaps between calls. I always take my laptop with me so I can work in between them.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways that I do it.
Yeah.
One of my approaches is to always write out the main action and dialogue first, and then, play it back in my head and worry more about the details of the setting, that sort of thing, to make it more immersive, more three-dimensional. But that way, the sequence of events is already set up, and if needed, I can make changes, which is what's going on with book 3 right now. But no, it's a good process, and it works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, being consistent, I think, is a big deal, right? Do you do any character mapping, or some people format out the story ahead of time and do all that? Some people just kind of write and it unfolds. Like I find if I do what I call puking onto the page. I just blather onto the page. I just literally, whatever my concept is, I just try and write it out as fast and as much as possible. Because, sometimes it's only there for a few seconds and you're like, I got to remember that. And you're like, what was that? And so I just kind of puke it onto the page, and then I worry about editing later. I just try and get it all out. And then, and I've seen people, they try and edit as they write. Like they write one sentence and they'll try and play editing with it. And I mean, maybe it works for them. I don't know. Everyone's got a different style.
Yeah, when it comes to mapping out characters, I do try to get as much of them figured out as I can before I commit to writing that. Some other characters, they turn out to be a lot more complicated than I originally expected. Head Enforcer Sula, for example, Originally, I expected him to just be a cookie-cutter villain, but as the time went on, I realized that this guy is not just intentionally evil. He's a very complicated man who's absolutely dedicated to his job and will pursue whatever means necessary to accomplish the needed means, even if it's on inaccurate information. But at the same time, he is also scrupulous. If he learns that something wrong was done on his watch, he will do what he has to do to correct it.
What other sort of aspects do you think, or lessons do you think you want people to walk away from when they read the book and put it down? What do you want them to come away with?
Hopefully they'll have a good understanding also about how far you can go to help family and friends, or chosen family, if you want to call them that. The importance of justice in life, standing up for right over wrong, or for what's easy. There's a lot of things like that I discuss. Some people have just said that Pangaea is a dystopia, and in some areas, yes, it is. But there are also other areas where it's an outstanding place to live.
Oh, okay. People can enjoy living in it and stuff. But, hope springs anew wherever. It's one of the great endearing things about the human race is there's always hope. And I think some of that's discussed in the book where, the gentleman's in this prison and he wants to be free. Of course, it's freedom. I think it's important as well.
Especially when it's a kid. Yeah.
I mean, your whole life's ahead of you. You don't want to spend it in prison. That's for sure.
Especially if you didn't do anything to deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, we had somebody on last week who did 44 years in prison with a false accusation and was later released and given $19 million or something. For
travesty.
Yeah, but you can't ever replace, 44 years of your life.
I know.
You start out when you're 17. He started out when he was 17 and did 44 years. And it's crazy. The witness against him had lied. They suppressed the evidence and sharing it with their counsel and all that. And, 19 million paid out. But I asked him, I'm like, can that really replace 44 years of your life? And he had his head in the right place. Of course, if you gave me $19 million, I can hire a psychiatrist to hopefully get me fixed in the head. But I think he had squared it on his own really well. And he seemed to, take it on the chin and be like, it is what it is. And you can't change the past. No. What can you do? And all you can do is make the best of the future. But, stories like this endure in the realm of hope. He endured and so does your character.
Yes. And that's another one of the themes is I believe that recovery is almost always possible from such horrific circumstances. Yeah. Even the worst types of child abuse, I happen to know somebody who went through this, and I'm not going to say that they weren't affected by it, but they are getting their life together in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. It gives people a blueprint that there is a way out of hope, out of issues, and there is hope. And I think that's mainly what we find in these stories. We find lessons of life. We find lessons of hope. We find, the phoenix who rises from the ashes, the endurance of the human spirit and mind in wanting to be free and exercise its things. Maybe I asked you about the book series that you want people to know that we should get out there.
What else? Number one, that they exist.
Yeah.
Number two.
That's important too, yeah.
Yeah. Number two, I am working also on getting audiobooks of them out. Yeah, the first one's almost ready. I just need to finish equalizing the volume between the chapters, but that takes time.
Yeah. Kind of a whole art to that thing.
Exactly. That's one of the things that I've loved about this project, though. I'm not learning not just writing, but also audio editing and engineering, and even video editing with the cinema trailer. It's been a real in-depth learning process for these various types of skills that are growing more and more marketable in the modern world.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned AI. How do you use AI? Some people are using AI to do some editing and stuff. Some people are using AI and submitting to Amazon, and Amazon's flagging it. How are you utilizing AI in maybe story or character development or writing the books?
I don't use AI to help write the books. Absolutely not. That is a hardcore, fast rule of mine set in stone. I will not use AI to help me write the books. But in terms of developing images, video to help promote them, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
They're a great tool if you use them the right way.
Yeah.
That falls down to people, not the tools themselves.
And I've seen so many great trailers and artwork that AI has done. It's kind of to the point where the fingers aren't all weird. For a while there, you're like, that dude's got 8 fingers. I'm pretty sure that's fake.
Yeah, there was one video sequence in the trailer where I had to kind of clip the bottoms and tops because Mark had extra toes on his feet.
Extra toes? I mean,
yep.
it is space. Maybe aliens or something.
No, there's no aliens in Pangaea. I haven't done that yet.
Those dogs that are on the cover, are those dogs that are on the cover? Is that what those are?
Yeah, stalker hounds, genetically developed, genetically enhanced and engineered creatures, certain feline DNA traits to enable them for fast speed and that sort of thing.
The make them dog cat hybrid, maybe? Is that
something like that? Yeah,
something like that.
Definitely more canine than feline.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I often say about cats, if I want something that hates me half the time and loves me half the time, instead of getting married, I'll just get a cat. That's the cat joke. That's the only one I got, folks. Sorry, it's a low bar. But maybe if you balance cat, the thing I love about dogs, I have 2 dogs, is they take in unconditional love. But cats are different. They're just they're kind of like, they have this sort of FU sort of attitude going on. But what are you going to
do? As Robert De Niro said in Meet the Parents, they make you earn it.
Yeah. Plus, evidently, that show established, the Fockers movie show established that you can actually milk cats. So, remember that scene?
I do remember that scene.
Yeah. As we go out, give people your final pitch out to order up your books, get to know you better on the emails and all that good stuff.
All right, let's see. You can find the books on Amazon. Books 1 and 2 are both up there for sale right now. The prices are not extravagant. The audiobook will be released hopefully within the next few months. Book 3, hopefully by the end of the year. You can see if you want to help deciding whether or not you want to read the book, you can see the trailer on YouTube. It is live now. And you can also visit my site, read Pangaea, all one word, READ Pangaea.com, excuse me. And there's a contact the author segment where I'm happy to take any questions and respond personally. So, yeah, hope to hear from some readers and hope they like the books.
Good stuff with the books and all that good stuff. I'm glad you found your purpose and you found a way to write. And I like how you do the Uber and you keep your laptop with you. That's really smart because, you get those ideas and you got to capture them quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you can kind of expand on them and take advantage of the stuff. And that's pretty smart. It's hard. You couldn't do that if you had a job where you had a boss standing over you going, "Why are you on your laptop and you're doing something that isn't my work?"
Yeah, I tried that for a while and it didn't agree with me.
Yeah. They're like, "Hey, you got to do our work, man, not your work." They have a thing about that. It's kind of weird. People look forward to the future works. They'll check out that trailer that is now on YouTube, and people can check that out. There'll be a link for that on the Chris Voss Show, I think, so watch for that. Or you can check out his website as well. And thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, Camren.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, audience, for tuning in. Order up his book wherever fine books are sold. It's called Pangaea. Do I get that right?
Yes.
Pangaea. Book 1, Enforcer's Pursuit, out June 27, 2023, and you can find the other books on the website. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places in the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Camren.